Hello, thanks for tuning in to our webinar presentation of Unfolding the Future, State of Commercial Laundry. We are excited to highlight some of the key findings from our 2024 State of Commercial Laundry report today. Before we get started, I did want to mention that we will be answering pre-submitted questions at the end of the presentation, but we encourage everyone to watch the full webinar today as we have some exciting findings and content to cover. So let's go ahead and introduce our speakers today. Sarah Sinclair is the Chief Customer Officer at LinenMaster and Infinite Laundry, where she helps spearhead strategic customer and partner initiatives to foster company growth. Sarah has extensive background in the laundry industry, leading successful organizations and creating innovative sales, customer service, and marketing campaigns. I will be joining Sarah as a speaker today as well. I am the Senior Marketing Manager here at LinenMaster and Infinite Laundry, where I have the opportunity to work on exciting projects to help raise awareness for the LinenMaster and Infinite brands, such as creating this amazing State of Commercial Laundry report with Sarah. I'm excited to dive into the results today, so without further ado, I am going to pass it over to Sarah to share an introduction and why we created this research report.
Thank you, Brittany. Always a pleasure to work on anything with you. And this has been a particularly exciting initiative, something that is clearly new to LinenMaster and Infinite Laundry, something that Brittany had a great idea to spearhead across the business for the sake of informing the industry. And that's really our overarching goal as a business and a combined business with software and marketing, is to provide value back to the laundry industry that we love and serve every day. So why do we do this? A little bit, just coming off of the introduction I just gave, with laundry remaining essential and playing a vital role in maintaining cleanliness and safety across indispensable industries like healthcare and hospitality, we have to stay, cutting edge. We have to keep what's trending top of mind to inform our business decisions and prepare us for future success. So we said, let's poll the people. Let's see how many people we can get to participate in this. With this being our first year, we certainly have the intention of repeating this process, seeking even more diversity in our answers in the future. And we'll talk a lot today about how we got our answers, who we talked to get this information, and why that gives us the great results we're able to share today. But again, it's really to inform the industry, best prepare us for future success, and also just make sure that we're really sharing our experiences. That's something that the industry is really good at, pulling together, making sure that we're supporting one another in everything that we do. And so within today's webinar, we'll talk a little bit about the critical findings, a lot that we have noted as challenges for the industry, and even provide some actionable insights and strategies designed to empower laundries such as you or maybe someone who is a customer of yours to thrive this year and beyond. So again, we just really want to foster a sense of community and collaboration. We're always navigating the changing landscape together, and we're thrilled to have you with us just to talk a little bit about this specific report and the findings that we were able to pull together. So I'm going to pass it back to Brittany. Again, Brittany really spearheaded this initiative, came up with the idea to have a data collection process that would be super informative and easy to digest. So I'm going to pass it back to her to talk a little more about how we conducted the research and who responded to it as well.
Awesome. Yes. So Sarah shared kind of the why behind the report, and I'm going to share how we conducted the research. So we actually created a survey using a popular surveying tool and shared it with our network of customers and laundry professionals. I think there was about 40 questions on the survey in total. We had just over 90 unique people respond to the survey, and respondents were from all different types and sizes of laundries, including family-run and large-scale laundries. And the majority of our respondents were in the United States, with 5% from Canada, and about 43% of respondents had one laundry facility, 23% had between 1 and 5 facilities, and 23% had over 11 facilities. We had a wide range of respondents, but healthcare was the most represented industry, followed by hospitality. Most respondents did work for laundry facilities, though we did have a few respondents who worked in healthcare directly or from consulting firms. Those that did work in laundries were mainly from commercial laundries. And then, in terms of the type of roles our respondents had, we had a lot of general managers, plant managers, director of laundry services, healthcare laundry managers, owners, and executives respond. And now Sarah will chat about how the data from this report can help you in your operations.
Yeah, 100%. It's really interesting to see the type of people who responded in their roles and facility types. It helps you understand what's going to be most relatable to you as we navigate through the findings of this report. And let's talk about how that data can be leveraged in your day-to-day. So we're aiming to provide you this information to support operational excellence, growth strategies, give you some trend analysis, help you have a sneak peek into marketing insights, and talk about tech advancements. And there's details on all of that throughout today's presentation. They also exist in the report themselves. But a couple of things that are really exciting, I think, are always the trend analysis. A lot of growth strategies can vary in understanding those, but really how they play into what's trending today. Are you ahead of the game? Are you kind of behind a little bit or trailing behind on a specific trend that's going to be profitable for you? And then throwing in the marketing insights is something that we've learned is so vital to understand in today's market. Being diverse in your strategy, making sure people know what differentiates you as a business. And of course, there's that word tech again. Tech everything, tech advancements, tech forward, and kind of debunking a little bit about what we're talking about when we refer to tech and how you can implement maybe AI, different technologies, automation or robotics, a little bit of the differences between those and what people are really leveraging today. So with that, how this helps you, the reason why behind it, and who answered for this specific iteration of the report, let's get into what those key themes and emerging trends are. So when conducting this survey, here is what we were told in the answers that we received. Number one, AI is coming. So again, we just talked a little bit about technology, but we definitely have AI coming into play specifically. So a lot of automation, a lot of artificial intelligence specifically. Artificial intelligence is creeping in many ways, whether it be in equipment and machinery, or, maybe you're just generating different emails for customers you're sending out through an AI chatbot. But it is everywhere. And with efficiency always being top of mind, AI is really top of mind for everyone in the industry as well. And then technology trends that are shaping the industry. We'll talk more specifically about what some of those are. But again, technology is almost an unstoppable force. So the industry is saying that they know it's time to embrace it. And many are really starting to, especially coming up in 2025. We're also going to dive into operational costs and labor shortages. Operational costs are on the rise. And, we live in an expensive world. And to add to that, of course, labor continues to be a challenge in the industry, something we've seen over many years, but definitely continues to remain top of mind as a challenge that we face together today. And inventory management challenges. That was a top key theme and emerging trend. Depending on the way you operate, COG or rental, you have different challenges when it comes to maintaining inventory, but we know how critical that is. And the people who completed this survey made sure to highlight that as well. And then another big one is sustainability and marketing as a differentiator and for growth. So a lot of those different green initiatives, environmentally friendly initiatives, also brand management and equity. So a lot of things that can make you stand out as a business on both fronts, just really coming forward and pouring out in these results. And some of what people are doing successfully today to help them really push those initiatives forward. Talking more about some of those emerging trends and focusing in on the challenges, our top three were definitely labor shortages. That includes finding and retaining talent. So one of the most significant challenges, as we know, it's a strain on the industry. We always struggle to find skilled workers. It's a top concern. And we also have a lot of reliance on temporary workers that gives us limited access to advanced automation technologies that could alleviate this burden. So, a rotating inventory of employees or not being able to find the right people causes us a lot of backup when we're trying to train, get people really acclimated with whatever top technology advancements that are implemented in a laundry facility. Can be really tough when someone leaves. And that is something that we continue to struggle with as an industry overall. We did learn a little bit that some training initiatives, having those in place and having a program where people can really tap into something that's consistent, even if it's something as simple as a brief internal knowledge library with best practices. We're leaning on a lot of your vendors to help with training on their equipment, machinery, and their software programs, have helped people either retain labor because people feel really empowered in their roles or quickly make up for the turnover that they face. And then some other initiatives that have been taken and that we've heard a little bit about when going over this report with some of our customers and peers in the industry is just making sure that you are spotlighting your culture. And something like social media posts, making sure people know that your facility is a great place to work or that your facilities are great places to work is something that has closely tied to longer term retention or attracting the right talent in the first place. So the second main challenge that was identified in this report is rising operational costs. I'm sure this does not come as a shock to anybody on this call today or anybody listening in, but we will cover this one a bit later. In conducting the survey, we learned a little about what folks are doing to combat this issue, so we'll make sure we touch on that in a bit. And then there's inventory loss. So inventory loss in this report was the third most pressing issue, with 49% of respondents reporting significant business impacts related to lost or damaged linens. So despite that finding, which was almost half, 58% of laundries do not track their linens using unique identifiers like RFID or barcodes. And today it's still, a manual process, whether it be counting or by weight, and sometimes general assumptions about mass loss. So that's a really interesting fact to see that it is such a top of mind concern, but people are kind of struggling with how they want to move forward with managing those items and making sure that inventory is tight. So some things that we can note for you are people are leveraging software to track inventory on and off site. That's a growing trend. So not just having your system in place in the laundry facility, but empowering your customer at the end facility, whether it be a hospital, a hotel, or a restaurant, etc., with software and tools where they keep an inventory themselves, and it comes full circle. Or also, tapping into options with unique identifiers to track inventory. Of course, RFID is coming down in price. We've heard a lot of talk about it becoming more popular. And as a business, we are finding that people are more interested in implementing it. We're seeing further implementation of RFID across our customer base. So really interesting findings there. Just food for thought. And when you're thinking about your business and how you manage it today, also knowing you're not alone. Everyone seems to struggle with these top three things. If you don't, we'd love to invite you to help us maybe find some of those best practices and present them to the industry, or share your thoughts and best practices for the benefit of everyone. And then other notable challenges include attracting new business. So businesses struggling to build brand awareness and grow their client base, regulatory compliance, adapting to changing industry regulations. Obviously, that's going to add to your operational complexity. And of course, the trend of consolidation. So a lot of smaller laundries are facing pressure from larger enterprises. That's, of course, through consolidation, further disrupting the competitive landscape. So pretty interesting challenges, of course, stemming from our key themes and emerging trends, but really great to kind of, for a lot of people listening in, feel that validation Okay, these are still issues that are pending in the industry. We still need some better solutions, and maybe we can put our minds together to see how we can really cross those bridges together. But now I'm actually going to pass it back to Brittany. She's going to speak a little bit to the marketing findings that we found in this reporting process, and some of it even tying back to a struggle or two, such as attracting new business. So, Brittany, I'll let you take it.
Awesome. Yeah. So, as Sarah mentioned, attracting new business was one of the challenges noted. So, we did want to dive into that a little bit more just to understand what's currently working for laundries to help them gain new customers. So, we did find that 92% of laundries have a website, but over one third, or about 35%, don't do any marketing at all, which is a huge chunk and a big missed opportunity. Word of mouth and referrals are still a top source of new business, but inbound marketing is proving to be a critical driver of new leads and attracting new business, especially in the modern age as consumer and professional expectations are shifting. Lastly, our respondents noted that outbound sales and partnerships are still an effective method of gaining more customers and business relationships as well. So, what type of marketing strategies specifically are currently working for laundries to gain new customers and win new businesses? Laundries are still using traditional advertising methods like print advertising and TV, but digital marketing and advertising are becoming more popular as they are affordable and easy to target local markets effectively. So social media is also growing in popularity as it's another, inexpensive way to reach potential clients as well as existing ones. Those that are using social media are primarily on LinkedIn, followed by Facebook. But ultimately, marketing is an effective way for laundries to expand their reach, fill routes, and stay in front of competitors as well. And now Sarah is going to cover the laundry operations side of things.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Brittany. Those are really great insights. All right, laundry operations. So this is one of my favorite parts of this report. It's just really cool to see how people are measuring success and performance. It's really interesting to see how people are charging, how people are managing their inventories. And the scale in this is probably my favorite part, where it says, how do you typically measure your performance? And you can see where 87% of operators who completed this survey stated that PPOH is really their KPI. It is their main key performance indicator. It is what helps them understand if they are performing to standard or not. Under that is customer satisfaction and retention, then clean pounds shipped. So they're saying that the more clean pounds are shipped, the more successful the day-to-day is. Pieces per operator hour, so pieces processed. Clean pieces shipped. Cleanliness standards actually weighed in pretty high at 23%. 4% weren't sure, and that's okay. We're here for you if you're not sure. And then 5% just said it's something else. So it just might be a different indicator that they're really measuring success by. But PPOH is always really prominent, with 87% measuring success, and that's averaging 99 pounds per hour after outliers were removed from our data. And then that second performance indicator there, customer satisfaction. So only 60% of respondents actually measure customer satisfaction and retention, which we thought was really interesting considering client retention being so important in our industry. So that was something that was a standout to us, and we thought we'd bring it to your attention just to see, what kind of ideas you might be implementing. It's really easy to have those touch points in place and a very great system or two in the industry that can automate that for you. So certainly something to consider when peeking into the data of this report and making future business decisions. Again, we also touched on the clean pound shipped and pieces per operator hour. The piece by pound and weighing in clean versus dirty were also two standouts that we had there. We noticed most people are weighing in clean versus soiled, and that is actually how they're typically billing as well. So that was also something interesting we wanted to point out, because there is such a big difference there in how people are managing that process. And then there's that word again, technology. Technology advancements. This was really interesting to us. A lot of automation coming into play. People are saying it's becoming more prominent. How they are defining automation is something we're looking for more insights to understand completely. We believe that from our survey and the way we asked questions and the responses that we got, it's essentially, perhaps automating an order process or having more automation through equipment to assist them with day-to-day processes. But one thing that was really interesting is half of the respondents tracked their linens with unique identifiers, with only 1/3 of the respondents using RFID for the linens. So there's just a call out there to say, we are tracking, but we're still not leveraging RFID entirely. A lot of it still has relevance with barcodes, even some being QR code driven. So really interesting. And 58% of that not being tracked. We also found out that email takes the lead as the main tool used by customers to place orders. So 79% of our survey respondents are taking orders via email, and then 68% via phone. And then 57% use software and 30% are still using fax. So the fax one got us. We don't want anyone to feel the pain or the burn of a fax machine anymore. And we understand that it's really difficult to be stuck to a process that your customers have become acclimated to over many, many years. And we know that it has a lot to do with training laundry end users, the customers of the laundry. There are ways to make sure they're equipped and motivated to place orders in a way that's in the best interest of the laundry. And there are some best practices like, partnering with maybe a laundry consultant or another successful laundry who's completed this rollover process and training, or perhaps any type of vendor that you're partnering with where orders are placed, just to make sure that your customers feel comfortable, maybe using more technology forward ways of placing orders that don't further burden you into any type of manual process there. So, auto orders through your ERP system, or maybe even orders being taken over phone, but by a bot that's able to transcribe them and place those orders in the way that's most meaningful to you. There's just a lot of options there. So really interesting to see what some of those trends are in terms of technology advancements. And then another emerging trend that we talked about earlier, and coming back to more details of that, are sustainability trends and how they're gaining traction in the industry. So we learned from this data that more laundries are adopting sustainable practices. And when we asked what those were, we learned that there are more recycling programs coming into play. There's a lot more eco-friendly machinery and materials being put to use. A lot of laundries are building sustainability like LED lighting in their facilities, or ensuring they are adhering to reusable textiles. They have green cleaning practices, some even implementing solar panels. And of course, there are a lot of organizational level initiatives like benchmarking targets that manage loss and utility costs, environmental and energy audits, and travel reduction programs and PM schedules. So a lot of preventative maintenance going into this, a lot of, how can we make our routes and travel more effective to make sure that we are being more green in our initiatives and wasting less resources. And it's just a really interesting insight. The industry has always been pretty committed to being green and making sure that we are recycling and reusing, but it's definitely becoming more relevant. And we're also seeing laundries leverage it in more marketing material to customers. We're noticing that the laundries customers are becoming more invested and interested in differentiators such as sustainability whenever they see it available in a laundry. So really, really cool to see that there. And then how do you use this information to prepare for a successful 2025 and beyond? Well, there are a lot of ways, and hopefully you've already gained some insights. Again, we're really summarizing the top picks of the litter today for you in this program, but you will have access again to the report if you've not already read through it. It does have another level of detail that you can dive into, but here is what people said they are doing to make sure that they are ready for a successful 2025 and beyond. So again, really embracing AI, robotics, and automation, making sure that the focus is on improving operational efficiency and addressing rising labor costs. So whatever they can do to save on labor or prevent turnover, or prevent the burden of turnover in the future, or shave a few minutes off a process, people are far more interested, invested, and open to embracing AI, robotics, and automation this year. And then, of course, the increased use of RFID. Well, again, it's been a trend for many years, but we're definitely seeing it become more widespread. RFID chips becoming more affordable. It really becoming easier to find that type of software and tying it into the day-to-day of your laundry, even with your existing programs. So it's certainly becoming a more popular way to track items. And in many cases, it takes less time because there are ways to bulk process items with RFID. No process is perfect, manual RFID, barcode, or otherwise, but it is a trend and it is what people say they are doing and embracing for 2025 and beyond to be successful. Again, touching back quickly on that sustainability focus that we just reviewed, anticipating advancements in eco-friendly wash chemicals, reduced water usage, and energy conservation techniques. And of course, investment in marketing. So more investment in marketing is expected, and we're seeing that trend. We're actually watching it rise. That's because laundries, they're wanting to adopt more modern ways to grow. And marketing does a great job of providing an easy and affordable way to get in front of the right audience. You can target specific locations, specific business types, specific people, roles. There's just so much you can do to be creative to make your facility stand out, your business brand, the one that people are really lining up for. And then there's that fantastic regulatory pressure. So a lot of stricter regulations are predicted. This will push businesses to adopt more sustainable and efficient practices to comply with the evolving environmental and labor standards. One thing I want to say is I think that the industry has a lot of exceptional associations. A lot of them can help you focus on a lot of these different ways to prepare for success. Some of them being great partners like TRSA, ALM, CSC, ARDA. There's just so many that we can really turn to for a lot of information on how to leverage all of these different tools in the facilities, and also stay up with great things like regulations that are coming down the pipe, and also, how you invest in marketing for success. And a lot of other vendors, they can also tie us back to make sure that we are embracing a lot of these trends and emerging areas of focus. And of course, us, our role here, we did the data gathering. We loved doing it. It was an incredible journey to get the results and see them right in front of us. I think we all always have assumptions and we hear a lot about what's going on, but to see it really come out on paper and proven across a pretty broad audience is kind of remarkable. And we can't wait to keep doing this for years to come to ensure that we have benchmarks to measure against. And we can see, hey, here's what the trends were rolling into 25, and here's what they are rolling out of 25. And, do they match 26? And where do we really hit on those goals and what everyone believed we would accomplish? And where might we still want to work together to make it the more successful year? So with that, we would love to answer some questions. Of course, we do have some that were pre-submitted. Any questions that you have after watching this are more than welcome to be submitted, and we can certainly reach out on a more personal basis. But one thing I do want to say is that we don't claim to be experts on all the topics included in this report. Our intention is, and of course was, to act as a resource or a foundation so you can make critical business decisions with this data in mind. And what we'd like to do throughout the year is invite industry experts on a lot of these topics that we don't necessarily specialize in. A good example would be textile testing or maybe a green initiative. But we'd love to invite them and partner with them to further inform you But that means we might not be able to answer detailed questions on some of the topics included in this report. So when you're submitting your questions, we have a ton of what we like to call frienders out there, wonderful vendors who have areas of expertise outside of software and marketing, which are our areas of expertise that we love to partner with to answer your questions. And we will frequently do that. And we have a great list of partners that we can refer you to. So heads up, don't be shy. But our areas of expertise do mainly fall into the categories of software and marketing. Everything else was fact-based. It was all factually gathered and based on the findings of our report. So Brittany, if we are interested in answering a couple of those questions for the people who are listening in now, we can certainly do that. And then otherwise, we'll look forward to further question submission.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so our first pre-submitted question was, what can laundries do to keep up with knowledge and systems needed to stay up to date with the latest technology and system options?
That is a great question. And I'm sure it's a challenge for most because, well, there just doesn't really feel like there's a lot of time to go out and grab new knowledge and go hang out with other laundry operators because time is everything in a laundry. But there are several things we've seen successful and several practices we have in place. I just spoke to a lot of really awesome associations that are out there. I would highly recommend signing up for any newsletters being put out by any of those associations. You can certainly also join a ton of free webinars, a lot of educational sessions that those associations hold. Even different vendors holding a lot of different educational sessions to make sure they're bringing value back to the market. LinenMaster, for example, we hold master classes or we hold free webinars. And again, we try to involve industry experts to help stay up to date on the latest technology and systems, for example. You can also reach out to vendors, trusted vendors of any kind, and ask if they know a good partner or a reference. So, hey, favorite vendor of mine, do you know someone who's great with the latest technology and how can they help me? There's also some really well-known and awesome consulting, either individuals or firms in the business that have exceptional insight. They've gone out and done their homework, gathered the data on what's going to be the best way to move forward with technology and systems. I'd like to say we can help you with software for sure. But the best ways are probably stay really close to neighboring laundries, see where you can visit and how they're doing it. It's always great to see the processes that other people have implemented. Work with those different associations to gain that knowledge and then tap into any of the resources you can get your hands on, whether it be through a trusted referral or maybe a vendor that specializes in those topics.
Awesome. Yeah, and just to add on to that too, I know TRSA and ALM and CSC Network host some great in-person industry events as well, or even virtual roundtables and plant tours and that sort of thing. So definitely look on their websites for any events that could be useful for you in the future as well.
It's awesome.
Okay, so our next question, how are laundries addressing inventory of linens at the customer's location? Is it a manual count, barcode count? Sarah?
All right. So we see it in many different ways. So sometimes a laundry will actually have their own team go out into a customer's location and make the counts whenever they're doing a pickup or delivery. So they employ, maybe it's a driver, maybe it's a tech that's riding along with the driver. That person, the responsible individual will run in, do the count, and then kind of walk out. And of course, it depends on the size of the facility. We've also seen like large healthcare organizations, a laundry servicing a larger healthcare organization will actually employ a linen tech at that healthcare organization so that the laundry is really taking those inventories at the customer's location. When they are doing that, they're oftentimes using a software program. Sometimes that is a manual count software program. There are some that actually accept barcode or RFID counts into those software programs. But it's a great way to stay organized and make sure that the inventories are, preventing loss, preventing shortages, preventing hoarding or overages. And it really keeps the laundry in total control of the inventory. So, if you have people to do that, that's great. If not, supplying the customer at the location with a tool of your choice to keep those inventories, something really simple and basic. That's also something we see successful across the industry. So, hey, customer A, this is how you're going to place your order. You just take your inventory here and you're going to email me this. I'm going to get these numbers and this is how I'm going to place your order. It also lets you know what's on hand or their pars or, where they're struggling. There are software programs. We have one, so I can speak to it. It's called Linen Helper, and you can give it to your customer or encourage your customer to participate in that program. And it is a very easy to use software program. It takes mobile counts. It's actually coming out with RFID and barcode scanning this year, so it's adding on to the counting process. And it helps them maintain that inventory. It gives them insights every day. It holds people accountable if they don't count. And if you're a laundry providing your customer with that and you own the account, you can actually log in and see it yourself. And we can tie that back to like ERP software, something like LinenMaster, where orders are actually automatically placed. So there are a lot of different ways we've seen it done, some manual, some barcode, and now, the emerging trend of RFID. I think it's about finding the right program, and your capacity to make sure that they are actually leveraging the program you provide to them, or, your capacity and essentially budget tolerance for employing someone to handle that for you internally.
Great answer. Awesome. Okay, this next question, can you talk a little bit about reporting such as stock reports or custom reports?
Reports. Well, data is everything. Data is how we learn about the progress of our business, and it's what informs us to make changes or supports decisions that can be big changes for the business. It's hard to talk about because I think reports, outside of some pretty standard stuff like we saw PPOH, for example, in the deck today, and a couple other of key performance indicators that people feel are, exceptionally important in running a laundry. Outside of that, I do think a lot of reports become very personal to a laundry, especially because you can see how many different ways a laundry measures success. So I think what's important is, find a good partner. Probably, it's going to be some kind of system you're running in your facility today, whatever system it is that you need data from or whatever kind of data you're looking for. You should find a system to partner with that has a great set of canned reports that's going to give you the basics of what you need, but also, has some kind of flexibility in letting you customize reports. Again, I think it's kind of close to the chest in what makes each individual laundry unique and how they measure success. So you need some flexibility in that. I can, from our examples, just from what we've lived, LinenMaster has a set of canned reports. You can go in and check them out, and they're pretty industry standard and used across multiple different laundry types. The way they were developed is clients asking for them over time and saying, hey, this would be really important to my business. Now, as a SaaS software provider, stuff starts to become capped, right? Our capacity to manage all these different reports, but we did come out with a custom reporting tool. And we actually have reporting experts and partners you can partner with who will help you develop custom reports specific to your laundry. So reports, well, we could hold a whole 2-hour webinar on, on reports. But I think it is critical that you're managing data, and I think it's critical that you're able to manage it in a way that's going to elevate your business to meet expectations, whether it be a dashboard that has, what's been delivered, or if you're behind on anything, or whether it just be a report that's going to kind of spit out what your sales reps have accomplished in a day. It does become pretty personal, and you should find a vendor that's accommodating with all of those options to make sure you're running as expected.
Fabulous. Well, that just about wraps up all of the questions that we had pre-submitted. I want to thank Sarah again for unpacking a lot of that data for us. It was definitely an eye-opening experience going through all of the information from this survey, but we had a lot of fun putting this research report together and hope that you found this session valuable. I will be including a link to download the full report in the email with this recording if you want to dive deeper into the research. And as Sarah mentioned, this is an annual report, and we'll be launching the survey for the 2025 report in the coming months. So definitely stay tuned and be on the lookout for that. Thanks again for tuning in and watching the presentation. And again, as Sarah mentioned, if you have any other questions that pop up, definitely don't hesitate to reach out.
Thanks, everyone. All righty. Bye-bye.